All right, so this is the first Dropfleet game between Elliot and myself, and we have here at Deep Cut Studios, Matt. We've got all the models set off to the side, and we've set up our first strategy rating deck, and we're getting ready to go here. So I'll check back in at the end of turn one. There we go. Okay, end of turn one. I've got the bulk of my stuff coming up through the middle of the board here, and then I got last move with my heavy cruiser and two drop ship guys. They burned out to the middle of the board and look like they're going to take that cluster over there. Elliot's all of Elliot's forces are coming in on the far edge, and everyone else is on silent running. Moving on to turn two. Okay, here we are at the end of turn two, and Scourge have landed two infantry pieces into this sector, into this cluster on the left flank, and on the right flank, Elliot has got a dropship over that cluster. In the middle, everyone is being super cagey. Everyone is on silent running and just slowly moving towards each other, since we have no idea how combat works and we're a little worried about it. Oh, yes, and then we also have a three bomber assets that have been launched from the Seattle on one of the Scourge cruisers, and that was at double range, so they're not going to take effect until later next turn. Okay, so far no damage anywhere, and we're going to move on to turn three. End of turn three. What bullshit.
There's
What's
the
that?
bullshit right there, right in front of the camera.
Oh, all of this, yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so turn three, what happened? Scourge go to the center of the board, and
First thing is the
Seattle carrier. Is the Seattle character, which is off in the dead pile. Seattle carrier puts several points of damage onto the fleet. Then the bombers came in and did some more damage to the Efreet.
Yeah.
And essentially the Efreet had the engines knocked out, and it was in a decaying orbit, and it was going to go. However, on return fire from two Scourge cruisers, the Seattle class went down quite quickly, because there was that plasma tempest that went off and just did a lot of damage. However, there were a lot of other frigates and cruisers that came in and did more damage. And so what we're going to resolve right now is the damage control on the remaining Wyvern, who's at 1 point of damage, low orbit, engines are out, and I save him on a 4, 5, or 6. Otherwise, he enters the atmosphere and he burns up, right? Okay, here comes 1. He takes an extra point of damage and he blows up. Okay, that figures. All right, so over in the dead pile here, actually, you know what? When that Seattle came in, the first thing he knocked out was
he killed a frigate.
Was the frigate.
He did a little bit of damage to the Efreet.
Okay, so he killed this first,
then
and
the
then
came
these
in
guys
and
went
pretty
down.
much almost blew him up. Then the bombers from the Seattle went after, damaged the frigate, the cruiser further.
Yeah.
And then your other cruiser came in and finished off the Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so essentially during that turn, what do we got? We've got some infantry over here holding this cluster. We've got the Shenlong heavy, which has put some fire in on the Moscow heavy cruiser over here, and then shots from the ground laser over there, plus these two frigates. Everything missed. So we have not crippled the Moscow, and let's see. Then you've got the Seattle over here that's dropped off some infantry on this cluster.
That's a Toulon.
Is it?
No, these are Toulons.
Yeah, no. That's not Seattle. It's like
New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah, has dropped off the infantry over there on that cluster. Okay, and then do we have any other damage on your ships? I mean, there's
This guy's got damage. Otherwise, I think I haven't got a scratch.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so right now Scourge are in a lot of trouble, and the Shenlong, which should be doing the majority of the damage, is really out of position over here on the left flank. So we're going to move to the 4th turn, which is going to be a scoring turn, and we're going to see kind of where it all goes. All right, that's it. Okay, here we are at the end of turn 4. So the points are, Elliot has 7 points, and this is caused by him owning this cluster. He's got tonnage advantage on that cluster. He's also got a tonnage advantage in the center. I own that cluster on the left flank. Everything else of mine has been wiped out except a clean Shenlong now in his backfield. Elliot's Moscow heavy cruiser is down to 1 hit point. It is falling into the gravity well, and the electrical systems are out. The Berlin, though, is clean, right? Is that right, Elliot?
Yep.
Okay, and then he's also got a bunch of frigates. We're just going to go for one more turn. All I want to do is find out if the Shenlong can wipe both cruisers this turn, which will give me a fighting chance on victory points, but remains to be seen. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Okay, there's a reason why Elliot's laughing. We were going to play through this turn. He went first and sent in 2 frigates against the remaining Shenlong, and also the Berlin cruiser.
The Berlin cruiser,
yeah,
with
the Berlin
big laser.
cruiser with the burn through. And he did just enough damage to get what is it called? Crippling damage table result, which put my weapons offline. Now, of course, my strategy was to move up on his cruisers, use the plasma storm or whatever it is to finish off his Moscow, and then use my Oculus guns to whack the Berlin. That is now not going to happen, so we're just going to call it here and say that Elliot, yeah, good one. Elliot wins with a pretty convincing victory. Yeah, gut punch. I think we can both agree that the Scourge suffered from some really
dice rolls,
terrible dice, but otherwise kind of a pretty interesting game. So Elliot, what's your now? This is the first time we played this game. What's your analysis here?
I think it's very interesting. I really like the stealth aspect. It feels like, compared to other ship games that we've played in the past, this one really captures sort of a Hunt for Red October, sneaking around in the dark, trying to find where your opponents are. The opening turns where we were both very cagey, but then the pace shifted very fast once we
as soon as we were in contact, the Scourge just started falling apart.
Well, that was the dice.
Yeah,
but I think if it hadn't been for the dice, it wouldn't have slid so far, so one-sided.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I find it quite interesting. I think, it took us a while to play because we were just looking up so many rules. We're not terribly familiar with the rule set, but combat, when you're in combat, it goes really fast. Like the combat resolution is very quick.
And it makes sense too. It feels intuitive. The different types of guns behave in ways that that correspond with your imagination based on what the descriptions of them are. Yeah.
And so, because combat goes fast, I think once we have a handle on the mechanics, I think the games would probably go a lot faster and could probably easily handle larger number of ships. So, okay. Well, good first experience, and congratulations to the UCM, and that's it. All right, good.